back. More stream and everything. Nope. Anyways, show off a little bit of New Year's out there. What you doing? Pretty sure what else has to do with it. Later. Weird. Alright, we're going. Yep. TV we're But anyway, sorry about that. Welcome in, viewers. Welcome in. Also, anyways, let's get back to what we were doing. Alright, like there it is. Well. There we go. Okay. Anyways, this is basically the new for 2025. I was gonna update you guys on it. Right now, I'm on the third layer. I'm thinking about going back to the first. I think for a little more detail to it. I can. And now, third layer. Oh, so history chat. At least my computer's not being slow this time. Kind of, sort of. Doing the actual lines. I just figure for right now we'll come back to Victor Van Helsing the Third after I decide on. I should probably have a better insignia for his outfit. This one, I do love the square shield insignia. I do, but I want to adorn it with at least a little bit of thorns, or maybe something a little bit more akin to silver or something. Well, we'll see. And you also, if you want to know what the soundtrack is, this is Castlevania, like. It was Castlevania something. Because most of these I'm confused. Oh, that got frozen, so I drank it. Sorry. What detail? Anyways. Okay. Yeah, basically it's a remake of the Castlevania 1 in PS1 form. That's me. Oh yeah, it was Castlevania Colossi. I can't remember the name. Actually, it's not even I can't remember the name, I just can't fucking pronounce it. Because you see, it's supposed to be bending at least a little bit this way. And over there.
Roxy's outside.
Got it. Easy and try to make sure it looks like an actual bell hay. Even like it was with the first one. And that's why I always keep one earbud out so we can listen. Which was so slow. I will say the soundtrack's actually quite interesting for most of the Castlevania games. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 which means Round of Blood, including most of the remakes, they always have a familiar soundtrack. Still all. With the usual do 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 do. Then they update the effects a little bit more each time with each console, and it's just like you're like one of the Belmonts. Basically playing Dracula again and again, no matter how many bloodlines you keep going through. I always find it fascinating that creators have so many ways to recycle material and make it brand new. I always find it fascinating. It kind of does fit Castlevania's theme entirely. Going through the same thing again and again and again. And but you're a different Belmont every time. And much less thing. Like I said, I'm quite fascinated of different games and how they sound. I don't know why. Like I said, the ones that I like very much right at the moment, because sooner or later I will have to play these games. Sooner or later. You have Castlevania 1 with Castlevania. Then you also have Castlevania 2 going. Wait, that's one. How's Castlevania again? That's right. There it is. I really forgot about that. Like I said, never played 2, but I do listen to the soundtrack quite a bit here and there on the old YouTubes. So I do listen to this stuff. Now, Castlevania 3's soundtrack is quite interesting as well, thanks to Funlight's soundtrack. Like I said, if I ever get a chance to listen to 3 and also Bloodlines, I hope to listen to it one day. Right now I have not, because one, first before I just go. Because I kind of got spoiled with Times Quest 2 by the end. Time ago. And I just say, yeah, alright. Like I said, music's fine. It's just the gameplay that's kind of terrible, hard, and not really good. I mean, I could say the same thing about Ronald Blood as well, because it's definitely repeating the same thing of Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. Which I was hoping they were not going to do that. The game, because apparently there was a lot of secret kind of crap. Like, get to the graveyard stage, you have to go down and try hit a certain point of the bottom. well, fall into the water. Like a natural stage 2. Instead of just stage 2, here's real stage 2, facing on a bridge. Nice, it's definitely different. And I still do want to keep streaming that probably on Thursday. Not sure yet, because I do want to play Little Crash, the Insane Trilogy. That's the game that works my console almost. Almost everything. Let's do that. Or Dead Rising. Okay, I do have some games. But I want to do. Just if I want to play them or not right now. It's really up to me. It's up to the audience. They would just said, play the modernest game you can find. I was like, no. Well, so you're wondering why I. If you're wondering why I do these types of drawings, especially New Year's art, it's because when I come up with the idea, it's like, oh shit, that's a great idea. To, oh shit, that was a very, very risky idea. Because one, when I decided to draw the New Year's art and things like that, it was during right around December because I was talking about it with a friend. I was like, yeah, what would be interesting if I just, draw a whole lot of people I follow just because it's a nice thing to do. They didn't even care about the views or clicks or crap. I just said, that's a great idea. I could do that. Well, then I know that was the terriblest idea I ever done. But hey, no regrets. I did like it. It looked good. It looked interesting. It looked very unique from my perspective. For everyone's perspective, like, what the fuck is this guy smoking? I don't know. Imagination. That's what I was doing. I'm not that funny. I'm not that funny sometimes, but I am. Okay. Who keeps texting me on Discord? Come on James! Make that too. Alright. How's SOS? Hang on. Neat post from Twitter.com. Anyway. SOS.
Okay, you're watching
QMFG.
YouTube. But did you know there's a YouTube Music app where you can discover new music?
Shut up, YouTube. Anyways, OMFG. The at balls. I don't know. That's Twitter users handle. That's not how I pronounce it, but okay. That is kind of funny. Cool though. It is cool. Anyways, enough of that. Back to arting. I mean, that was a fun distraction just for like 2 seconds. But also, back to the music. I was listening to this last night because I just recently discovered it because the AGN one of the Nerd episodes revisiting Castlevania, saying which one is the best, internally of design, control, gameplay, and also soundtrack. I would just say all the Castlevania soundtracks are phenomenal. I have not listened to Legacy yet. Legacy of Darkness. I want to. That'll be when I have time. And when I can actually remember shit. Like, oh yeah, I was supposed to, listen to Legacy of Darkness to see how that sounded. But also at the same time, just like, oh yeah, right, I have to make sure my thoughts are can't upload to wall. So there's that as well. Like I said, I'm working my butt off. Anyways, layer almost layer 3 now. Oh no, what did I do? Oh no, I did it again! It's not like I have that. Oh wait, right. I can just do that. Well, not that stupid. Okay. Because I remember I can just layer on the layer and just. Oh yeah, that's right. I can just do that on a page. Makes my life a lot easier. Come on. Right now I'm working with both my laptop setup and my PC setup. Because I'm just going back and forth, make sure it's still uploading while I am drawing here. Okay, so let me go to layer 2. Like that. Layer 2. I gotta draw a moon over. Draw a moon over here. Draw some trees over in the background here, and have the main leads here. Basically, the people I follow. But and you're wondering, why did you fix it around? It's because for one, I'm facing off my own little backyard, but with a little bit more improvements here and there to keep the garden safe. Basically, my oh my god, this my backyard, it had a garden. It had, but right now it's winter and most of the plants are, deceased, dead, and can't really grow anything during winter season. So right now the garden's kind of just like lifeless, and I don't usually like lifeless. I really do want to try regrowing things, but at the same time I just know that I need to make sure I have enough water to do this again, and maybe start off small this time instead of just going big honkin' Dunkins. I'm gonna grow me some melons. I'm gonna grow me some pumpkins and hope for the best. That's just it. Yeah. Always start small, folks. Always start small before going big and go home. That's what I would say. So, we got a great farm, and you live out in the outback or the old west or anywhere really you have plenty of space to grow and stuff. Just try it for a bit. Have a little fun. Yeah, I'll think about putting a tree here. Right here. Basically, the trees I have are mesquite trees. These are definitely the most interesting type of tree out here right now. Some type of weight here as well. And well, meant good for slow cooking if you're using one of those what do you call it? A smoker. Jesus. I'm getting old. I'm getting old, I'm getting tired, and I'm getting slow. Not good. But also for layer 1, here's this. I'm still thinking about how I'm gonna make sure this is good and alright. Because one, I could probably move the fire pit over just a tiny bit this way and get rid of the circle entirely. And just focus on the square dimensional bricks. Thank you. And then there's also the fact that I also have to make sure that there is a line coming somewhere through here as well. Then there's also the fact that I have to draw a little bit here in the background because it looks, well, empty. There's that. And it's also trying to make sure this is all nice with a little bit of dirt here and there. No, make it feel like there's a little bit of earth here. And the reason why I'm not showing the panels here is because one, it's very high up. And these are pallets. Like I said, I based this entire on my own backyard. Just to get it right. And to be honest, there is some things we're missing, like for example, trees here and there. But I'd rather just leave it empty like that than just, okay, put a tree here, put a tree over there. Let's see how that works. Because it hasn't worked out. Right? Because there's supposed to be a tree right over here. I know that. That does not work. No. I'm just gonna have to make sure the tree is kind of like covered. If you don't know much about gardening, how trees usually grow, most people would have a stake or two just to hold down a tree, so it doesn't, crack on the side. But you have a fence around it too, it will probably hold it up as well. But usually people use spikes and things just to keep it down. Like I said, I gotta draw a little bit of trees in the background. Trees right here, and maybe one off a little bit here. But I'm thinking about it, then maybe just one here. Make sure the fence is visible here as well. Come on. I need you in load, footnotes. I'm slamming right now. Thank you. At least the fence is going along. Here. And then we're stretching it out over this way. That does not look good. I'm trying to think. Because for one, I know what it looks like.
You could pay for a streaming app and a music app, or just get you.
Blah 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 blah. Ad blah blah blah. I'm not sponsored. Please let me listen to my music, please. Oh, there we go. Now I was listening to this last night. I was like, they always included that. And I felt this one was a lot more bassy. Not just that, a lot more excited because of the trumpets. They're going all the brass. Screaming out loud. I thought that was interesting. Always interesting to hear effects like that. Always interesting. Well, I can keep it like that. I'm going through here anyways. Over there, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Finally, that's where things go. Got it. Everyone as straight as possible. Alright, I'm gonna make sure to get Rollins at the end of the track here. Now, here's the other thing I want for. Apparently, there's a little known game out there that definitely took a little bit of inspiration from Castlevania and some other games that I like from genre platform beat 'em ups, or platform horror, I like to call it. A game called Dead Cell. Apparently, they also did a collab with Castlevania, which I was actually kind of impressed by. Like I said, if I ever get the chance to meet the creators who make the solid stuff, I really want to just commission them and just make one album. Actually, not even an album, just a soundtrack entirely. Because for one, I do enjoy the Dead Cell soundtrack much more than the Castlevania X Dead soundtrack as well, or Dead Cell X Castlevania, soundtrack. Sorry. It has been a while since I, done. Just hearing that, it really just screams. God. I just love the soundtrack of games. And when people say game soundtracks are not music, well, they have a whole orchestra and everything in between these songs. So you're telling me an orchestra is not music. So what is it then? Because I heard people on Twitter complain about that. I didn't want to get into the whole argument. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even a debate, it was just outright dumb. And I can tell you it was outright dumb. Because one reason only. Most of the people who talked about it didn't play the game at all, which means yippee journalists. Ugh. To I don't know why people are just into this stuff. It's freaking ugh. Just go with some Beatles or something, which I do, because for one, I am very much old school. I love old school. But at the same time, I'm just happy with what I listen to. It's not me being, oh, I'm glad I listened to this. Like, no, it's just be happy. Love being happy. Just listen to this stuff. Just talking about it here and there once in a while. That's a little too deep. Okay, now look at it. Okay, it's all close. Here. This is the line with connected here. Oh. And they also made an 8-bit rendition too. Like I said, that's what I kind of love about people who make games and have these bombastic orchestras and songs and stuff. It's creative, it's fun. It really gets your imagination going too. Well, listen to this. Because for one, if you've never played the game before, then your brain would probably fill in the blanks and thinking, well, what's this game about really? Just take a look from the screenshots and things like that. It really makes me glad that there's still some creativity left in this world. Some. Not a lot. Some. It makes me know that people still draw traditionally. Some people draw digitally. Because why not? Because artists will be artists. You know what? I was actually tempted for Inner Calamity and Castle That Never Dies. Was it Castle Never? No, sorry. Boo brain. I'm on the goof juice again. It was called The Era Never Dies. And I was gonna be tempted a little bit, just saying the song ain't mine, but it just sounds so good. Like, God, this maybe just say I want to use this, like really flat out. I want to use Castlevania music because for one, Inner Calamity could be like this. Just a little somber notes here and there, a little sadness just to the lyrics, and especially with the scene going on. So I love the lyrics and stuff, especially the tone they're going for, things like that. Like I said, there's many things like music theory that talk about this, especially with specifics of how the lyrics sound, what the artist was thinking, and how they would feel, and try to, let it out. That's how Devil May Cry is so popular. Well, no, I mean 5. Damn. Hang on, let me check. Take the chip, replace that, there we go. Sorry, my English chip was a little fried. No fried there. Basically, imagine Devil May Cry. And you may ask yourselves, what were the artists trying to think here, and what were they going for, and also at the same time, what was the aspect of deviltry? Quite simply put, it was because through the gameplay and through the story, they figured out some lyrics here and there and said, so basically our main character, Virgil Sun, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. I remember Dante, Virgil, like damn it! I'm a fake Devil May Cry fan. Ah, bad. But yeah, basically, every time the players here at Capcom or at any other studio come up with many things to make the sound or songs interesting. Imagine Street Fighter Rally music. You wouldn't have any uptone catchy beats or round one, fight! None of that. I mean, there's also the fact that sound effects also play a big part into how the characters would, how they punch, how they kick, how do they take damage. Especially going, ooh, ooh, ooh. Because that's the interesting thing to me, exactly. How much sound plays so much of a role, especially music, in gaming. It also plays a big role definitely in movies as well. I just think people don't see the whole thing of when sound is played, how would the main character feel when hearing a or a gadunk or a that? Because one, maybe you feel intense. Maybe you feel like, what the hell was that? Alright. Especially listening to the soundtrack. How would you feel about it? Because one, how would it work with, doing an action with the sound? If one example I could go with, Metal Gear Rising does an excellent job of this. God, Metal Gear Rising. I know of a YouTuber who gushes over that so much, especially some other YouTubers as well who actually play through the game. Not be good at it, but hey, anyone has a skill level, and anyone can play a game. They go for it. Also, at the same time, it's basically like how would I put it? Because you have sound design, you have sound effects, all this stuff try and work together with the music at hand. So how the Metal Gear team handled this, which is basically their due to Studio Platinum, how they handled this was quite interesting to say the least. They made sure to layer the soundtrack with what the player's doing. With the sword, and especially how far of the game are they. Because for one, the riff could repeat again, especially with I will be blind. Because for one, if the player sucks, the song will just repeat again. But if the player does well and moves on to the next thing, the lyrics will keep on going more faster as the player keeps on playing. And I thought that was interesting. That's kind of cool. Like I said, there's many things I like about gaming, and many things I kind of do dislike about modern gaming, especially with DLC, microtransactions, free to play. Oh, it hurts. Because for one, I understand what the free-to-play model is, especially for a Battle Pass thing, because for one, you do this for free, sure, but what are players who don't want to pay for the Battle Pass or anything else? Well, they can still get the Battle Pass, you just have to be a, stingy little rat about it by collecting V-Bucks and all that other things. I use Fortnite as an example of it, but Russian Badger did an excellent video on World of Warships and their free-to-play system, in saying, instead of using the sponsor and using the sponsor servers, I'm just gonna play, in the beginning, instead of just using the creator code, all this other shit. I'm just gonna do my own thing and play with the actual people instead of the bots. And I thought, wait, they actually do that? Apparently, yeah, they do, which is, interesting. Which means, for one, if I ever do play these free-to-play games or ever get sponsored by any of these, for one, I want to be truthful and honest and say, you know what? I don't want your sponsorship thing server. I want to play the actual game entirely. Is that alright with you? And live stream it to the audience. Is that okay? Okay. Same with Capcom. I'll be honest. I'll be brute. Like, for one, I may love their games, but I'm not that much of a, cloud goblin. He's like, cloud goblin. What's up? The soundtrack does not fit well with what I'm trying to do. He's like, cloud goblin. How you doing? I'm here to get your clout. I'm here to cancel you on social media. But no. I think, for one, the problem with me and modern gaming is basically the fact of, when people put time and effort to it, I see time and effort put into it. Say, for example, Hollow Knight. I love Hollow Knight. Do I play the game often? Well, no. Because I technically beat it. I didn't get the true ending or anything. I just said, I'm playing it through to the end. And I thought, yeah, I beat it. Until I saw Indie Mouse play for the whole thing and realizing there were multiple endings. Ah! No! Damn it. Which means I had to beat the boss at least 47 times. Like, yeah, I'll go play Hollow Knight again when the time comes and I completely forgot about it. But yeah, like I said, using Hollow Knight as a good example. That's one. If I really wanted to play that game again, I would. Because one, when your mechanics are fun and your sound design is interesting, your art style is cool, yeah, I'll play it again. I don't mind it. I don't care how old it is. I'll play it again. Same with RE. Even though it's old as dirt, I still want to play the original 1, 2, and 3. 4, no matter how much it ages, even with the HD remakes, I would still say RE4 original is still good. It has its problems here and there, sure, it's not flawless, but it's good. When I say I hate quick time events, God no. I say it adds more of an experience to gaming than just doing nothing with it. When people say Resident Evil did not need quick time events, I would say to you, well, Shinji Mikami took a lot of time in the story, which I will keep mentioning to this day, that which Shinji Mikami did was quite simply focus more on the game and less on the story. Focus more on the graphics and detail of the art than the story. Which I do appreciate. Yeah, the story's funny. Reminds me of B-movie stuff. But I'm not really in for the story, I'm in for the gameplay. Even though it's rough, tough, and hard. I mean, you guys see how much I stream that shit. Me streaming Resident Evil. Me getting my ass whooped pro. Oh. I still play this thing, though. So one, you can't stop me from playing Resident Evil. it's just that good of a game. Especially as a series. Eh? Like I said, Village, terrible. And that's me being brutally honest and saying, no, the big vampire lady did not make me go, awooga! It just made me went, I don't know if it is Resident Evil. I mean, when I already said it, it felt like horror. It felt scary, sure, but to me, what makes a good Resident Evil is basically how people handle the story. You can make an RE series all you want, but at the same time, I like the lighthearted tone of RE as well. Just the campy feeling of Jill Sandwich to Leon Club. Or how about the freaking fish fight? Leon just saying, quite really story of my life. I enjoy that a lot more. Especially with RE4 Remake. I'm glad to get Bingo. You know, where's we're going? Bingo? I'm glad they kept that in. But at the same time, I wish also they kept in some of the other aspects of Resident Evil. Like, for example, the RPG and the Artisan, a bit with the puzzle of moving the statues and get things like compared because we have limited space capacity. Like, I want more of that. Because Resident Evil, the way it made you feel scared was because of the controls. You know, you say, oh, the tag controls and the camera angles, oh, that's disgusting. And it's like, no. I say, no. Actually have emotional experience of how good you are at a game. You want my best example of this? Take Silent Hill, for example. With the first one. I'm not talking about Silent Hill 2. That one's quite interesting in its own way, and also at the same time, I wish not to talk about too much because the remake came out and people are still playing that. I think. I don't know. Maybe they moved on to something else. But basically, with Silent Hill 1, the game I wish they made, because that game's at least 20 years old at this point. Or maybe 25. I'm not sure. Because I know it was made before 2000s. So maybe 26. Maybe. I'm being generous. Basically, with Resident Evil, how Shinji Mikami made it, Konami said we could do the same. Watch and learn. With Team Silent. And people just said, no, this is how you create a game. This is how you create atmosphere. This is how you create monsters and things like that. It's because, for one, Team Silent's actually quite interesting. While Mikami focuses on zombies and all this other stuff, Team Silent just focuses on, design aspects, a story, monsters, the sound, how to engage the player, really. For one, Konami can just say, we don't care. Forget those guys. We're Konami. We know how to make hits. Wait, where you going? Hey, Team Silent, where are you going? But there's also aspects of it like, for example, fixed camera. How the hell did Silent Hill get this right and Resident Evil still went with fixed? Well, the obvious answer may be because, for one, Silent Hill was his own beast, his own monster with his own engine. While Capcom was more comfortable with the fixed camera angles, Konami, Team Silent experimented with the camera angle of PS1. Say, okay, what if we do this, and then it switches to a different angle while the camera's moving? Like, okay, that's interesting. Do that. Like I said, I could talk about many things of gaming and definitely many aspects of how games were made, especially back then. Like I said, I never worked with Team Silent or Capcom or anyone else. I'm just saying I'm a gamer. I found these things quite fascinating. How they did it, how they make something interesting out of nothing, inspiration, just to get that slice of Resident Evil pie. All thanks to Dark. Well, is it Alone in the Dark? Sure it did. If not, then please correct me. Is there anything or something? I know it was something. Because Alone in the Dark sounds like a TV show that I did not watch. I watched Goosebumps. I also read the books. Yes, I was one of those people. Dun, dun, dun. Now, the interesting thing is with Air Calamity and the internet that never dies. I was actually, like I said, I was tempted to use the soundtrack because, for one, it adds so much atmosphere and music to it. But I was like, well, that wouldn't make much sense. If you're playing as just the main lead, then yeah, it would make sense. But you're playing as five other characters. So how the hell do you make the soundtrack sound more interesting than just the same old, over and over again? Now that's a challenge. So I kind of want to thank the soundtrack of Castlevania and mostly other Castlevania things that cross over with it to change up the music and stuff. Because what I'm planning to do is, quite simply put, when I'm trying to make the music now, I want to focus on the main character first, and then our other characters second. See how his song sounds? Basically, his soundtrack. Basically, Vigilante soundtrack. Vigilante soundtrack. Right next to that will be the other four character soundtracks. Because for one, with Fear Never Dies, I do want to go with the story of basically a castle that reawakens every couple of millennia, century throughout the internet. During the Golden Age, the Bronze Age, the Platinum Age, all this stuff. And basically, the people who went in were kind of just people who started the internet first. Maybe it could have been Iron Mouse Connor went in there first, and then Mac got stuck in the castle, never get out. Well, except for Mouse, because apparently people have noticed that Iron Mouse could just switch her soul into other people's body. Like I said, YouTube lore, weird. Twitch lore, very weird. YouTube lore, also weird. Like I said, many different aspects of lore, and especially trying to work with a story with all different types of VTubers, and especially all different types of YouTubers, and how would they act getting stuck in a castle that they can't get out of, they can't escape? So how the hell did they solve the problem? Also, who would enter the castle like a crazed madman? Now that's the thing I want to try to do with Inner Calamity as well, with it being basically who would enter this castle. How the main character, the vigilante, wherein would be quite simply put for some answers and evidence to what happened to his friends disappearing. For Castle That Never Dies. For Inner Calamity, it would start out with Monocomic going into a hole, thinking Willingwood went in, saying that, but it was actually just a really complicated bot of her. Right next to that would have been Ken jumping in because he saw Pippa going in. Like, what the hell? Pippa, no! Also, they're stuck in this weird internet realm of chaos and intensity, trying to get through what they have and trying to work together as best they can. Because one, I don't think Kama will get along with Ken, and two, if I had Naksaku, oh my god, that would be ridiculous. The chaos is sequential. Oh! Like I said, I have watched a lot of YouTube in my day right now, and to be honest, the more I know about these YouTubers, the more I watch them. Want to know about little details about their characters and things like that. And I say, okay, so this is how I should plan out the story. Because what with most YouTube media is just basically a name. So what I want to do is try to make sure the characters have a say. Or more specifically, try to make sure the YouTubers how I basically make sure their characters are characters and not just look, I have big names here. Basically, because for one, sure, it may be just a hobby and a project. Would I make money off this? God, it's just a fan. Thank you. Because for one, this is just like a test trial. See if I can get a game run good enough for 2D playing, so that way I can work on another one with pixel art playing and is inspired by Castlevania. Because that's what I want to do too. Is try to make a coherent story about why the internet sucks. Because trust me, it does. And why sometimes we don't need it in our lives. And at the same time, we can just live life without it as well. Which, yeah, weird. Why would I do that? Because one, I live stream on there. I do all this stuff. But at the same time, you have to just take a double standard and just say, okay, so let me make a story about this. Let me see what I can do as a creative and see what I can do with it. Because for one, the characters gotta have motivation, you gotta have a good story, you gotta have a good soundtrack, and then finally, you gotta have good gameplay. If none of it's fun, like Reggie said, if it's not fun, why bother? And I live up to that thing every day. The game's not fun. And I will keep going with it no matter what. I do. Will that. Now this one's also interesting. I take this soundtrack here and try to make it into a level. Because it's upbeat, it's rhythmic, it's exciting. So how you take that and make it into a level? Well, you take the sound and you try to make the level design based on it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't sound right with the level, then you try to fix up what you can with the level so it sounds with it. What I'm trying to say is, when you're listening to the music and you're trying to make the level happen, you want to make sure the level fits well with the music. Because one, the sound and music and level design goes well together like PB&J. And the bread is basically the sound, your peanut butter is basically the music, and your jelly, the final part, is your level design. If one of those things ain't right, then you just got a mess on the table, and you're just like, oh, gotta clean it up. God, you stop yet. Yes. It's any occurrence somehow. Just snakes and predators getting into it. For one, that would just be ridiculous. For two, I don't have the time for that. So, just might as well build rocks on the fence, so that way it looks a little more like, don't put time and effort. was gonna coat. Like I said, it's definitely catchy and upbeat. And I wish I was playing Dead Cell right now. Like I said, most of these game soundtracks are actually pretty freaking cool, and I think the orchestra and the people who create these songs really do care about what the game felt like. And not just that, they probably love music. They love creating things. It's their talent, it's their hobby. And I hope they're still making music, not out of the job. Because one, when something ends, well, what do you do after that? That's kind of what I wonder myself. After, finishing up Dr. Jekyll's journal, the book I'm trying to make here, and also Van Helsing's journal of the story of the millennia and centuries of Helsing. After that's done, what next? Now, that's a weird answer, and kind of a weird question too. Like, what am I gonna do after I'm done with the book? After I'm done with the series and stuff? What am I going to do? It's always a weird thing to talk about. Because you don't know when a series will end or when something will be finished. The only thing you do is just keep on moving forward and hope for the best. If it works out well, it works out well. If it doesn't work out well, we give it a shot. Had a fair chance. You had fun with it, right? Of course I did. That's when I say, that's when you have fun. You get something a shot, you went experimental with it, and you tried. Once you tried, have fun, and you enjoyed the project, I say you did pretty well. I understand most people would probably say, if it failed, it was a failure from the start. And I would say, well, depends on how you look at the failure. Because next time when you're trying to make another one, you can look at that failure and just say, take some aspects from this and learn from it. Because that's what people understand. One thing's a failure, you can learn from that mistake. That's how creativity is. It's random, it's inspiration. It's all these things you're trying to do, you're trying to manage time, you're trying to manage all this stuff. But you can't. So, what do you do after you fail? Oh, get back up. You take your pen, you take your freaking heart, you put your soul back into it, and go again. And that's why I say, makes good artists and good creators. And besides that, if I ever do get popular, or whatever the case is on YouTube, File, or whatever else, I wouldn't care for it. Simple as that. Like, what's Cloud gonna get me? Why is Cloud gonna buy me exactly? I'll tell ya. Absolutely freaking nothing. That's what Clark's gonna give me. Nothing! Absolutely nothing! And besides, I don't really care about copyright either. Like I said, if the song's interesting and fun to me, I want to talk about it. Would I fight the dispute or anything else? No, I just want to monetize it. Simply put, look, if you're gonna make money off me, at that point I would just say, sorry, but no. I'm just gonna not monetize it and just talk about it because I'm a fanboy. I gush over many things. I don't want to be that guy. Like I said, when I want to do my own soundtrack of things, I really do want to do my own soundtrack of things to make sure it sounds right, it feels right, it sounds great. Hold on, I think YouTube might be, say, hey, you still alive in there? Just making sure you're alive. Make sure you're not, take a poo poo. Yeah. Yes, YouTube, I want to continue listening to my Castlevania. Come on. Oh, wait, that's history box. There we go. Please stay in the center, please. Like I said, each verse at Castlevania has its own little twist of music every time for each generation. Like, no matter how many times you play that as a Belmont, music always sounds different. A little too large. That there, Not too close. Besides, I just want to make our tennis fun. Yeah, there's the one I like very much. Oh, that was all nice. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, okay. Wiring. That's Come on. There you go. That's all I want. There's no backwards. I know I'm trying to find the pixels. That's alright. That's a remix of Symphony of the Night. Alright. Alright. I am going to end stream here. Yeah, good time. Just chatting, music, bass, and stuff like that. Anyways, tomorrow, it's Wednesday, which means I have a day off. And on Thursday, I might play all of I might. But at the same time, I might play Castlevania. And also, I'm hoping to get my rules updated for streams, because this is 18 plus, and I should be honest and say, if you're 18, get out of here. The stream's not for you. But yeah. Anyways, let's see who we can raid tonight. And this is the perfect song to end on. Thank goodness. Alright. Well, ever since we're doing art, let's see if any art streamers are on. Okay, we got a few. I'm going with... Make sure stream the stream manager only. Yep. What the heck have I had to wait? Barry? You guys don't know how we do rainbow here. Raid. raid, or use any custom emotes you have. Or, use the Tomb Raider raid if you want. But let's go to the end the stream soon screen. There we go. Alright. I hope you had a wonderful night. You guys have been a very wonderful audience as always. But it's time to say goodbye. Time to go raid Barry the Bear. And good night.